How are you? Welcome to another video which I'm creating for you, and especially for people who are suffering from peptic ulcers. And also the video is important for people who have not yet developed peptic ulcers. In other words, this video, the tips and ideas which are here can be able to help you prevent developing peptic ulcers. Similarly, by understanding the content of this video, it can help you to halt or stop your peptic ulcers. Also, the same video can help you reverse your peptic ulcers and eventually cure the condition. Because we normally say that every output has an input. So what you see, always, there's the root cause of it. So there's also the root cause of your ulcers. Though different people with different ulcers may all have different root causes. But in this special video, I would like to discuss drugs known as non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs, or NSAIDs. Okay, it's a big word for the common man. It's a medical term, but I think when I mention some of the drugs, you'll be familiar with it. Now, there are drugs such as diclofenac, ibuprofen, drugs such as aspirin. These are the drugs known as the NSAIDs. These drugs generally help suppress inflammation and similarly help suppress pain so that we can feel a bit more comfortable. So you'll find that most of the people who consume these drugs are basically people suffering from conditions such as arthritis. Now, those with arthritis will consume these drugs virtually throughout their life because arthritis is incurable based on conventional medicine. So based on that description, they have to take it for life. Now, these NSAIDs normally destroy the mucosal lining of the stomach, and therefore prolonged use in high doses or being taken on a stomach, an empty stomach, possibly ends up destroying the mucosal membrane, and therefore you can develop gastric ulcers. So there are some people whose ulcers, so gastric ulcers, are due to NSAIDs. And therefore, this kind of ulcers can actually be cured. Because once you know the source, you know that the drugs you've been taking them possibly not with meals or after meals, but you're taking them before meals. Therefore, you've been destroying your mucosal membranes. So as a result of that, that's why you have your peptic ulcers or your gastric ulcers. So the root cause now is known. In other words, the input is known and the output is your gastric ulcers. So simply making a change, getting possibly a better source of pain relief or inflammation relief will solve your problem. And basically also trying to find out some diet or some foods you should avoid, which could be promoting irritation or gastric and mucosal membrane destruction. So those with arthritis should also be aware that the same medications they're using, though it helps them in suppressing inflammation and pain, it could also be the one that is triggering their gastric ulcers. And therefore, we can say that these ulcers can be prevented, they can be halted, they can be reversed, and they can be cured because the root cause is known. Then we have also people who misuse these diclofenac and ibuprofens. Anytime they have a headache or some form of aches, they prefer to consume ibuprofens, to consume diclofenacs, to consume aspirins. without knowing that actually prolonged use of these things can be able to destroy the mucosal membranes within the gastric system. And as a result of that, they'll develop gastric ulcers. So, this practice needs to be changed. You should take your medications through your doctor's prescription. But many people get these drugs without prescription. As a result of that, use them in a wrong way and use them in quantities which are abnormal. Now, if the public could be able to know that actually these drugs are actually double-edged sword, in other words, it will eliminate your pain, your inflammation, but also there is a third thing which is more dangerous, developing gastric ulcers. And also for those who have already swallowed these things rationally and have also developed the gastric ulcers, you should also know that these gastric ulcers can be cured. They can be prevented, halted, and reversed by basically stopping consumption of these drugs, because that's the source cause of the problems. And then you can find out other methods of healing the mucosal membranes. There are diets, there are herbs, there are other things you can do so that you can help the regeneration of your mucosal membrane. And there are ways, lifestyles, which you need to change so they can be a bit easy on your gastric mucosa. Like you should stop taking alcohol. Alcohol also promotes the destruction of mucosal membrane. You have smoking, which will also destroy the gastric mucosal membrane. And also stress. When you're under stressed, you also stress the mucosal membrane and it can also be damaged. So when you're also swallowing these pills and tablets without a prescription and overusing them, thinking that they produce magic in terms of pain, you should know also there's a price to be paid. That price is the development of gastric ulcers, which is far more dangerous. I think when you have those gastric ulcers, basically it means you'll have to be on drugs for peptic ulcers again. So you have drugs for your arthritis and also you're consuming drugs for peptic ulcers. Now, as you consume these drugs again, know that also these antacids and products you take, which normally neutralize the excess acids and digestive juices in the stomach, you should also know that your body also requires these things to help in digesting the foods that you're eating. So, chronic use of antacids will also interfere with the digestive system. Your body may not have enough acid, enough gastric juices to digest the food. So, as a result of this, you may have conditions such as constipations and so on. And similarly, antacids are also known to interfere with the absorption of certain nutrients. So actually prolonged use of these antacids because of consuming NSAIDs, drugs like such as ibuprofen and diclofenac, may also lead to malnutrition because your body is not getting adequate nutrients because of the use of antacids to resolve a condition that you have created. You've created gastric ulcers through misuse of the NSAIDs, the non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs. So as a result of that, you find now you have another prescription from your doctor for ulcers, including one for arthritis. And of course, the more drugs you take, the more the side effects. So there are other also untoward effects which may also occur because you're using so many drugs. So that's what I wanted to enlighten you about, the use and consumption of NSAIDs, because these consumptions and usages can be able to produce a disease in your body. And as a result of this, you may require Medicare. Thank you very much. For more videos which I'll be producing on a weekly basis, kindly subscribe to my channel. The subscription is free. There's a bell which if you click, you'll always get a message anytime I release a new video. I'm going to release empowering videos so that you can be able to take your health in your hands. True healing is self-healing. As a result of that, in knowledge is power. We say in the Bible, there's a quote which says that my people perish due to lack of knowledge. And that is why you'll consume drugs such as the NSAIDs. You think they're the holy grail. As you swallow them, you think they'll cure everything. The magic bullets for any pain that you feel, you rush for diclofenac, with or without a prescription. As a result of this, you develop gastric mucosal membrane damage. As a result, you have stomach ulcers. And then you ask yourself, God, how did this occur? You created it. And whatever you create, you can also uncreate. You created the ulcers, and you can uncreate the ulcers. And the only way for you to uncreate the ulcers is to understand what is the root of my ulcers. Ask yourself that question. I'm swallowing NSAIDs. Okay? NSAIDs are the suspect of your gastric ulcers. So if you know your enemy, of course you know the solution. So the solution is you, not your doctor. It is you to know what you're going to do. Stop swallowing those tablets without prescriptions, without proper directions. Now you should swallow them. Some people swallow them without eating on an empty stomach. So the tablets land on the mucosal membrane of the stomach. And of course, the mucosal tissue is damaged. And as a result of that, that's why this person has gastric ulcers. So it can be cured, it can be reversed, it can be halted, and you can be prevented by getting the correct medical instruction how to use those tablets. Some people who increase doses, the more the pain they have, the more tablets they swallow. They don't know what dosage, what's the maximum dosage they can take. They just swallow the tablets randomly as though fighting back against the pain. Welcome.